Yo, I'm so excited for this video. All right, today we're talking drugstore dupes, but genuinely, I think perhaps all but one of the dupes are better than the expensive counterpart. I love doing videos like this. I love finding dupes for you guys. I mean, for myself too. I'd rather not spend the money. Yes, I review makeup on my channel, so it's just a piece of it, but I mean, there's nothing better than finding something the same or better for way less. That's true in all walks of life, not just makeup. Okay, let's dive in. Hope you got your coffee, tea, water, whatever. Cheers. Maybe you got a glass of wine, I don't know. Where to begin? I'm gonna show you these as usual on one half of my face and the other, so you will really get to see these side by side along with swatches too. So I also took a little time to make sure I knew the prices and all of that, so I wanna pull that up so I can kind of share that piece with you. So I use the Notes app on my phone and I feel like it doesn't always sync up. Like I typed it up on my computer and I'm waiting for it to sync down here. Come on. Tyler says his are always instant. Mine are not. I don't know. What am I doing wrong here? All right, let's start with a launch that came out recently. I was so excited about, but I definitely feel like there's kind of a learning curve with this product. And I do think that the drugstore version isn't exactly the same, but I just like the way it performs and looks a little bit better. So the expensive product is the new Kosas Glow IV Vitamin Infused Skin Enhancer. So I've realized, this is just not the right shade for me, but let's start with some details about it before I dive into all that. Just hold on, UPS, too awkward. Hold on. I had to walk away. I mean, I'd be like looking right at the UPS driver and I still, after 10 years of doing this, feel weird with a big old camera in front of me like, oh, hey, yeah, yes. And I don't know why I feel weird because I know, like, we all know this is a thing. Like, anyway, it felt a lot weirder like 7 years ago when YouTube was not as prevalent, like doing the, anyway, okay. This has been the most chaotic first few minutes of a video and I haven't even talked about makeup. Let's just back it up. Let's start over with the first product. So, like I said, the Kosas Glow IV Skin Enhancer. So, this retails for $38 and it has 10 shades. So, I will say when it comes to something like this that's a glowy primer, but you can also use it as like a targeted highlight. You could mix it with your moisturizer or your foundation to make it glowy. For something like this to have 10 shades, I think it's pretty cool and it definitely does have coverage, which is why the shade I have is called Spark. I think there's one shade lighter. I thought this would be perfect, but the issue is because it does actually have some coverage, it's very obvious where I put this on my skin. So I'm gonna show you me applying this. So the way I've been using it is more centralized on my face, and of course I'm only doing it on half of my face today. But I try not to get it all over, so then it just looks more like a glowy primer and less like a full-on tint that I'm putting all over the place, if that makes any sense. And I never wear this alone. I always put something on top of it, again, to kind of hide the fact that it's not quite the right shade. So the one complaint that I've made about this and that others have made is that there is detectable glitter in it. The more I've used it in the way I just described, the more I've grown to like it. It doesn't bother me as much. And the other thing is the glitter, it's very, very small. I think Kosas describes it as like, you know, shimmer particle, like they have some other fancy word for it, but it's not the most obvious thing in the world. But I just feel like the coverage level and with the shimmer, there's another product out there that is about half the price that I just think is better for this type of product. And that product is from Pixi. This is the Pixi Flawless Beauty Primer. This retails for $22. And I just feel like this has less of a detectable shimmer. In fact, I don't think this has any. Yeah, I think it's just totally finely milled particles. So no detectable shimmer or glitter or anything. But it gives the prettiest glow. It does have a tiny bit of coverage, but not the level of coverage as the Kosas. So I would say the Pixi one's better if you're using it for a glowy primer because you may want a little bit of coverage, but you don't necessarily need your primer to be higher coverage because you're most likely putting on something on top of it. But if you were into the coverage level, maybe the Kosas one is for you, or if you are more concerned about a shade. This is supposed to be universal for all skin tones and types. If you have deeper skin than me, let me know how you like this. I could see where it would just be glowy and not necessarily you know, because it doesn't have that coverage, I don't know that it'd be super obvious, but let me know if you've tried it in a comment and we can kind of read down there. Shade-wise, Kosas wins, but I feel like everything else-wise, including, of course, price-wise, the Pixi one wins. But they're both really pretty, but I think the Pixi one's better. Okay, so this next one is I think, a really unique product type. So this recently launched from Laura Mercier, and it is their Real Flawless Luminous Perfecting Pressed Powder. This is expensive though. It retails for $48. This one has 4 shades. It's talc free, and I know that's like a big movement right now. So if you're looking for that, this is talc free. And the way they describe it is that it enlivens your skin with a natural luminous finish, but it does help balance like moisture and shine. So it's not going to be a super mattifying product. If you were looking for something mattifying, this would not be the one for you. Definitely not. The idea of this is that it's supposed to set the face because it is still a powder. So it's gonna, you know, if you've got that wet feeling on your skin, it's gonna kind of help tamp that down. But it still gives this slight luminosity. So your skin just looks like skin, but you're not worried necessarily about your makeup just sliding all over the place. It's unique, but it's also, I feel like it has a place in my routine. I was gonna say repetition, that too, but it has a place in my routine because I do use a lot of cream products, and a lot of times, like even right now, I have that wet feeling from the cheek product I have on. So this is the kind of thing that I feel like I can kind of tap over it. And yeah, it tamps it down ever so much. So now it doesn't feel quite as tacky, but it still has that glow. I just think that's so cool. So I've recently discovered this and have been enjoying it. And then I quickly realized, wait a minute, I have another product like this that is like the exact same thing. It's from Physicians Formula. This is their Butter Glow Pressed Powder. This one retails between $10 and $15, depending on where you get it. I'll have it linked below on Amazon. It's $10 on there. This one only has 2 shades. So the idea is that it's supposed to be kind of universal. I don't know, but this works okay for my skin tone because again, it is pretty translucent, but I really like using these kinds of powders to set my eyelid. You may have seen me using the other one that way too. I just feel like it's perfect if you're doing a look like I did today where you don't really have any eyeshadow on, but I always tap concealer up there and then it creases. I was watching a recent vlog of mine and I was like, oh my gosh, I can see I wasn't finished getting ready, but I could see all the concealer creasing. I'm like, that's why I love putting powder on that area. And I feel like these powders are perfect because they mattify enough, but there's still that glow, or I should say they set, but there's still a little bit of glow. It's just pretty. But this does the exact same thing to the skin. It really, really does. It's kind of crazy. I do feel like they both kind of give a slightly blurring, not overly blurring, but a slightly blurring look to the skin because it is kind of tamping all of that like oil down without taking, I don't know. It's like I said, it's so unique. I'm almost struggling to describe it, but I think it's so pretty. And you know what? I have not set my under eye and I want to try these because I've tried it before and I don't remember. It might have been a little more glowy than what I wanted, but I know a lot of people like that. So we're going to do the Laura Mercier one here. Oh no, that actually looks really pretty nice. So again, in this case, the high-end one has more shades. So if that's something that you're really struggling to find a shade that works, that might be where the price point is worth it. But this is a huge, huge price jump, and you can save a lot of money if it does work for you, if this kind of product would be something you would actually use in your routine. Yeah, that looks nice on the under eye. I don't think it's too glowy or anything. I feel like I am flying through this video. By the way, I can link everything I'm wearing other than what I'm mentioning down below. I'm gonna quickly go through it so that you can know, but also so that I remember later when I'm making the links. So I'm wearing the Kosas Revealer Foundation. I got a new shade, Light Cool 150. And then I'm wearing the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. This is new and it's so expensive, but it is so pretty. I have the shade N3. The lippy I'm really enjoying as well. Well, I'll find it in a second. The Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Skin Enhancer Bronzer. It's a cream bronzer in light medium. And then their new blush veil, their cream blush and Barely Blushing, I have been loving. But these are definitely ones that can slip around a little bit. So you want to like set them with something. And then I'm always using the Lawless Hold Up Soft Set Creamy Brow Wax. Well, I can't find the lippy I literally just applied, but I have the box because this shade is new to me. The Kosas Wet Stick Lip Shine. It's so so comfortable and so pretty. I feel like it's not doing it justice because some of it's worn off. I don't know. I still like the way it looks. But the shade I just got is Heat Wave, which is a neutral rosy beige. All right, let's talk about this mascara that I'm wearing. This blows me away because I tried these years apart. And when I had the realization that, oh my gosh, if I were blindfolded, I would not know the difference. Not just the formula, but the brush is the exact same. So the expensive version is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes. So the mascara retails for $29. So I'll show you me applying it right now. The unique part about this mascara, and I definitely had a learning curve with this, is that there is a part of the brush that is just kind of a paddle that just has the mascara product on it. So I'll wiggle it at the base of my lashes and then you turn it and there's the comb. So then you can comb that product through. It definitely took me like 5 or 6 tries with this a couple years ago to figure it out. I love it though. It really does push the lashes up. It holds, the way this looks now is the way it will look at the end of the day. It holds the curl. I don't notice weird flaking or anything. I really like, this is the 3rd one of these I've had. I really, really like it. But the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift that launched recently is the exact same product. So this retails for $15. You can find it as cheap as $10 depending on where you look. But it has the same brush where it's got the paddle part that's just got the product, it's kind of flat, and then you turn it and you comb it through. And the one complaint I have about this one is and I guess I've done it with the Charlotte Tilbury too. I just feel like it happens more often with the L'Oreal. You will poke yourself in the eye with them. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, you will do it, and you will do it more than once. And of course, you know it hurts, but I've gotten better at it. I still do it from time to time, but not as often. This does the exact same thing. I feel like my lashes look the same. I mean, again, it holds the curl, it separates the lashes, but it still volumizes. I think it just looks so pretty. So in this case, I don't think that the mascara is better. I feel like they're the just exact same. So you really don't need to spend the money on the Charlotte Tilbury one. I think I have one more backup like that I haven't opened yet, but I wouldn't repurchase this again because the L'Oreal one, like I said, is the exact same. So it was a very exciting discovery. All right, I'm not gonna dwell on this next one because I've talked about it in a lot of recent videos, like a lot, but I couldn't do this video without mentioning it. So I've loved for a few years now the Makeup by Mario pencil liner. So the Makeup by Mario liner retails for $24. It has 5 shades. They're all browns and blacks, and I think they have 1 blue. I usually get the shade Perfect Brown because I felt for the longest time, and I still feel this way, I like to wear my eyeliner the way I did it today, where I don't have any liner on the bottom, I just do it on the top, but I like to put liner on the upper waterline because I feel like it makes the base of my lashes just look fuller and thicker, and so then when you put the mascara, it just all looks cohesive. Well, this is one of the only ones I've tried that once I put it up there, it'll actually stay and it won't transfer down. But I realized it was only the shade the Perfect Brown that worked that way, that worked that well. So this shade was not because I mentioned it, but for whatever reason, this shade was consistently selling out. And so I would try to repurchase and I couldn't, plus it was like $20 and I was flying through this. So I really like it and I'll show you me applying it. I love that there's this brush on the other end. I think that's cool. But the only problem is the brush gets all weird and crazy because of you're trying to put the cap back on it. And so it ends up getting to the point where I can't use it anymore. And now the cap is like broken. But I like that you can kind of smudge this out a little bit. You can kind of pull it into a little wing. The one thing I've noticed about this though, is that this brown is actually really deep, but when it smudges out, it will turn a little bit like reddish brown, which I think is interesting. And this other one doesn't do that so much. So the dupe. This one retails for $11. It's from Sephora. It's their 12-hour eyeliner. It is waterproof. There are a ton of shades. I'll pop up a little thing of the shades. They have different finishes, different colors. I mean, it is incredible what they're offering. And this is the best kept secret of the Sephora collection, period. It is the best pencil liner I've ever tried. It does not budge, you guys. Once you, if you want to smudge it out, you don't have to, of course, but I'll do a real nice dark line and then I'll smudge it out and then I'll put it on the waterline. It moves, transfers, not at all. It stays put. It has to be, I've never swam in this, but this has to be, whoa, waterproof. It's incredible. So Makeup by Mario one, I still like. I'm probably not gonna need to repurchase because this is that much better. I've gone through like 3 of these since I discovered it. I do want to try some of the different shades. I just go for this brown. And of course, the Perfect Brown and Tiramisu Color are not exact dupes, but they're both dark browns. I mean, you know, so that was the most exciting find. I love that I said I wouldn't dwell on that too long, and I dwelled on that for way too long. I did it anyway. All right, so this next one is a product of mine I've loved for quite a while. It's from the brand Say, and it's their Glowy Super Gel. I have it in the shade Star Glow. This is actually the mini. It's lasted me a while, so if you were just dying to try this version, get the mini because it'll last you longer than you think, and then you can make sure that you like it if you were wanting to buy the full size. So the full size, however, retails for $28. There are 2 shades. And this is a water-based glowy primer, if you will. It is definitely water-based, and if you've never been sure of like, how would I know if something's water-based? If you felt this, you'd be like, oh, it's definitely water-based. It's just so thin and lightweight, and it blends in like that. It's very different feeling-wise from these glowy primers I mentioned at the beginning, the Kosas and the Pixie. Totally different finish, totally different feel. The reason I fell in love with this was because it would, like I said, sink in like that. Because it's so thin, it doesn't mess with the foundation you're putting on top. It doesn't get weird and pill up over SPF. So if you're doing like a layer of SPF, then a glowy primer, then foundation, this is perfect in that sandwich. It's just so easy to use. I love that it gives the slightest amount of glow and moisture without overdoing it. I just can't believe how much I like this. So the thing I didn't realize about this that I thought was cool was, as I was kind of poking around about it, it has some of my favorite skincare ingredients. So it has vitamin C in it, which is just amazing, glycerin, but it also has rosehip seed oil, which is like my secret weapon skincare ingredient. I'll put that on every night at the end of my skincare routine. My skin just loves it. Look into rosehip seed oil. I think you'll be surprised. And it's just, I recommend it to like anyone that asks in person. I'm like, add that into your routine. You will love it. Anyway, so that's so cool that that's in here. You would never guess. So it must not be a ton because again, that is an oil and you don't, but anyway, I love this. But I recently, and I mean very recently, discovered the Flower Beauty Skin Smoothie Radiant Glow Primer. I finally tried this the other day and I've used it like a couple days in a row and I'm like, it is exactly like the Say Glowy Super Gel. So this one retails for $12, so you would save 16 bucks, and it's just so similar. You guys, it is so similar. They have a slightly different tone, and the Flower Beauty one has 1 shade, whereas the Say has 2. For either of these, it doesn't really matter because they really don't impart color or tint. It really is just about that glowy, moisturizing property to them. But I love the way both of them make my skin look. I think the Flower Beauty one is ever so slightly less watery, but it's pretty close, you guys. So I was pretty excited when I tried that because the Say one, like I said, I bought this mini for a reason. I was like, I don't want to drop that much money on this if I'm not sure that I'm going to like it. Now I do know that I like it. I might buy the full size when I run out, but then there's the part of me that's like, I don't know that I will because this Flower one looks exactly the same on the skin. It is so beautiful. Again, it doesn't pill up underneath makeup or like over sunscreen. It has that similar property and I think a very similar glowy look. So these are the 2 that I actually kept on my skin before I put foundation. I did a close up or the demos of me applying the Kosas and the Pixie, and then after I did that, I wiped it off to put these on, and so this is actually what is on my skin under the foundation. I don't have a highlighter on. I think it is just absolutely stunning. So, and if you're curious, this side was the Say side, so it's definitely glowy. I do think the flower maybe has slightly more glow to it. So there you go. So that's everything. You guys, if you are into dupes, I have got a playlist for you. I've been doing these for years, videos just like this one. So if you want to catch my last one that was like a month or 2 ago and all my previous ones, I have the playlist and they're in order from most recent to least recent. So you can kind of watch them in that order if you're into it. I never repeat dupes, so they're all fresh each time, and this is just something I enjoy doing. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you have not yet subscribed, or maybe this is the first video of mine you're watching, I would love it if you did subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. It helps you guys find my videos easier, and of course, it's free. I also wanted to mention, thank you if you ever use any of my links I do make in the description box for you guys. Those I do make a small commission on if you buy anything after clicking on them. It doesn't cost anything extra for you. It's the same price. Like, that doesn't matter. It just means I get a little bit of a commission from that site, wherever you bought it from. So yeah, it supports me. It supports my channel. So I always appreciate when you click through and use those if you are planning on buying any of these. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I will see you guys in my next one.